Thank you for staying with us. Electric minibus taxis, it could be a pillar of South Africa's green transport strategy, but only if they work for owners, drivers and commuters. Ikamva Consulting and partners have been running real-time feasibility events in Tembisa, Soweto and Soshanguve, testing passenger sentiment, driver experience and operator economics. Today, we dig deep into the numbers whether e-minibus taxis could work. Let's talk more about this with CEO of Ikamva Consulting, Matsi-di-kanye, Moswane, who joins me in studio. Thanks so much for coming into the show, Matsi-di-kanye. Now, firstly, congratulations. This is a huge milestone. Let's talk about progress. You've obviously had multiple conversations, commuters, vehicle owners and drivers alike.
Hugo, thank you for having us in the studio. Good afternoon to you and good afternoon to the viewers at home.
So let's talk about the conversations that you've had. You've obviously put this out on test, done a number of trials. Are you happy with the progress? But more importantly, what sort of response or reaction have you been getting from those that you've been speaking to?
I think, Hugo, first we would like to express our gratitude to the minibus taxi industry community for welcoming us and being positive in trying out this initiative. It's a change or a shift from the traditional internal combustion petrol diesel powered vehicle. The reception has been humbling, extremely exciting, and obviously and from both the industry, the commuters and government. Government has, in our last session in Soshanguve in Pretoria, the Minister of Transport deployed the team to witness the real-time testing. The government engaged with the vehicle itself. They engaged with the industry and obviously ourselves, the commuters. So it's a shift from the normal or the traditional way of operating. And particularly, the operators are excited because we understand that petrol or diesel is the highest it's the second highest cost input for operators, second to obviously financing the vehicle. So the introduction of electric vehicle it's an exciting experience for them. Importantly, it will bring it will improve their income.
So obviously, it's going to be potentially a lot more profitable.
Sure.
For taxi operators, and one would imagine that they would pass on that cost to commuters. If accepted, just how much of a saving in running costs is there? Is there a huge difference in what they're currently outlaying versus what would happen with an electric minibus?
Sure. The average electric minibus taxi has about 20 moving parts as compared to 2,000 moving parts of an internal combustion vehicle. So the savings are enormous, and that is what the industry is looking for. We have seen the industry in the past absorbing the running cost of their vehicles by not increasing fares, each time the fuel price increases. So we're expecting and we're hoping that the industry will pass on the savings, to the commuters. But also importantly is we are hoping that the industry will equally have an improved relationship between the owners and the drivers, where the drivers would be better paid. So we see the entire ecosystem of the minibus taxi industry improving, and the adoption of this obviously it will happen gradually. We are excited that next year we'll be seeing the rollout of the infrastructure, which is extremely expensive. In Century City, we've been talking to Century City. early in 2026. There's a site that we'll be constructing there, which will be charging about 100 minibus taxis. In June, we are expecting the second rollout in the Stellenbosch area, which is also going to charge, more or less the same number of vehicles, and we will roll out as we move along.
Yeah. So allow me to come in there now. You talk about infrastructure. I want to and how this will benefit the taxi industry.
Sure.
But I want to touch on a key aspect to all of this, which is employment. Right. Now, are these electric minibuses coming in fully assembled? Do we have manufacturing plants that are being created in South Africa? Are we creating employment? Because that's a question that everybody wants to know.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're quite correct, Hugo. The vehicle currently, it's still in its infancy, Hugo. It's basically what one would call a prototype. So the vehicle is fully imported from China. And the discussions, what we are pushing is localization. To your point, localization will create employment, economic growth, but importantly also will bring the vehicle of, the price of the vehicle gradually to an affordable range. So the discussions are really to your point about bringing the vehicle in the country. Let the vehicle be produced locally. Let's have employment and economic growth. Where everybody would be.
So what are those conversations sounding like? Because it's obviously going to be critical.
Sure.
If, for argument's sake, there's a particular manufacturer of these vehicles who's manufacturing vehicles out of the Eastern Cape, right? Then the preference is, well, let's keep supporting the diesel engines or the non-renewable energy vehicles purely because there's employment that we are creating.
So the discussions are, at an advanced stage, and the understanding is that when you localize the product, that's where you get economies of scale, but also the adoption of the product. The adoption of the energy initiatives, the renewable energy initiatives that we are advancing through the product and the initiative. So we are talking to many government departments, and we appreciate their support. We're talking to the IDCs of the world. We're talking to the Department of Transport, the DTIC. And so forth. Obviously, discussions are quite fluid, but the push is for localization.
Let's talk about the speed of the vehicles, because from the feedback that we're getting, the minibus taxi drivers who like to put foot to pedal are complaining about the speed. How fast do they drive relative to what's currently on the market? Yeah.
A good point, Hugo, and this would also equally help in the reduction of road fatalities. There is traditionally a change. So if you compare your internal combustion vehicle to an electric vehicle, it's slower. But obviously the driving patterns over time will change. And that's really one of the good things that we are pushing.
What's it gonna? How much slower?
Well, if you have to look, the vehicle has a range of between 320 to 380 in terms of the range. In terms of the speed, the vehicle goes to about 120, but it is it's slower. It's slower than your normal vehicle. It is slower than your normal vehicle.
Okay, and finally, as we wrap, there obviously I'd imagine be some teething challenges that you're running into. What are these, and how are you likely to overcome them?
Well, naturally, Hugo, for instance, what you have alluded to is the speed of the vehicle, and the fear of the unknown. Where are we going to charge the vehicle? Access to those charging points, and so forth and so forth. It's a discussion that we and the criticism, we are taking it in good faith, more or less, and that's what we're saying to the colleagues. when we, in the event of, or the advent of load shedding, you know, we had generators and people didn't believe in solar power. Today, almost every second house has a solar panel of some sort.
Yeah.
So that's the discussion of that we are open to, and we're having those discussions openly, and this is the reason why, Hugo, we went on real-time testing. I mean, some of the drivers, when they're driving this vehicle, they were clearly not happy with the vehicle. It's natural, because and that is what we appreciate. Because the vehicle is still in its infancy and it's in early stages of final production.
So obviously, with time, the conversations will continue.
Sure.
Matsi-di-kanye Moswane, founder and CEO of Ikamva Consulting, thank you so much for coming on to the show, gracing us in studio for that conversation on electric minibus taxis that have recently been introduced or been trialled out with a measure of success.